Hey there, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video. I'm Zuko.
And I'm Exum.
And this is
The High Ground.
Alright guys, so today's a really exciting day. There's been a bunch of news that's been dropping, and it's all Clone Wars, which is all that matters in this world and all that matters in this game. So we're going to be talking about a few things. Let's start off really quick actually with some news that just dropped about, let's say, maybe an hour ago or so, which is the fact that Count Dooku and Nute Gunray are going to be getting some reworks. We don't know what the reworks are. All the developers did was just say, hey, look, these guys are going to get reworked.
Sometime in May is what they said.
We all know that Count Dooku needs Separatist synergy. The fact he doesn't have it is kind of weird.
It hinders him. It hinders him as a character.
It hinders him, it does. Especially in this new event that we're going to have to get for Padme, which we're going to talk about.
And now that they've made, the Separatist droids better, it hinders him in not being able to use him with them. So this is awesome.
And anything that has to do with Clone Wars, Separatists, I love it all. So that's really cool that they're reworking those characters. I do expect other reworks to be coming in for the Separatists. And I do still think that they'll be adding a couple more characters by the time that we get to the territory battles.
Yeah, Galactic Republic and Separatists will be on their way in, especially
overhaul.
with IG 100, is it? Magna Guard?
Magna
is the
Guard.
login character. So.
Yes. So you guys know what that means. Obviously, they gave us a hint at what that means with the reworks, but it could obviously mean more as well.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into Padme Amidala, because the really big news for today was her kit drop, and oh my god, she looks amazing. I'm super, super excited for this. This is a Galactic Republic leader that we really, really need, especially with all the reworks that have come out. We all knew that something would happen with these reworks. Was it going to be finally Grandmaster Yoda's leadership would come into play? Would somebody else new come in? And it does look like somebody new is going to shake up the meta.
Yep, and it's Padme. It's a character we all expected to come into this game sometime soon, especially with the territory battle being announced. We expected her to be kind of like Rolo, achieved and attained during territory battles. But this is a complete curveball, so now they're leaving that space available for a different character to fill that role.
Interesting.
And it's cool that she's a legendary. I love that. She doesn't deserve to be a journey character. So it's cool that we don't have to stress about whether we get her 7 stars this time around. Like a lot of us might be able to get her 5 stars, 6 stars, even if we don't have the droids, because they've said that her event is going to be easier if you have the droids, the new droids. But if you don't have the droids, you can beat it with Separatists, which they said is very much like the Ewok event. Or the Chewbacca event.
The Chewbacca
when you had the newer characters,
it was a lot easier
time, but when you had the older characters, you really had to gear them and grind it out.
Well, think about it this way. So what's cool about that is that I was kind of like, damn, I'm going to have to, we were talking about who we were going to gear and stuff like that, because we have Magna Guard.
You have Magna Guard.
I have Magna Guard, I have B2, and I have Count Dooku, all at gear 12 with a couple Zetas.
And Grievous.
Grievous, that's what I meant. With a gear 12, a couple Zetas. So I was like, damn, I would really like to have B1 and Droideka. To have to gear Dooku at the time was like, he's an okay character. I don't have a problem with it because I want Padme at 7 stars. But now that he's getting a rework,
it makes it easier.
For you to gear.
Yeah, of course.
So that's really exciting. I think that
and he's on a bad gear.
No, he's not. Only needs 1 stun gun. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Padme deserves the recognition of being a legendary character, and her kit speaks to how much the fandom and I guess the developers love her.
Yeah.
So let's get into the kit.
Before we get into it,
never mind.
Everything is subject to change. They put it up here.
There's even a preview stamp behind her little emoji thing.
So let's not fall in love or dislike her too much, because we don't know what's exactly.
And this is the first time that I would say that one of these previews are subject to change actually is subject to change, because obviously you guys heard what CG is doing with the fact that they've gotten some community members to start testing out the character before they release. Thank God that they started doing that, because it seems like we are the ones who can spot all the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. Her basic aggressive negotiations. Interesting that that's the name, but whatever. Deal physical damage to target enemy which can't be evaded. All Galactic Republic allies gain protection up, which can't be 10%, can't be stacking on itself for 1 turn. So obviously we've seen this introduced with a couple of the Galactic Republic allies, this protection up thing. We know that it's going to be something that's going to be big for the Galactic Republic. Their survivability is going to depend on it. And what I think is also really interesting is the fact that it can't be evaded. They're really kind of destroying Foresight. Anakin can't be evaded on his AoE. She can't be evaded on her basic. Darth Revan gets rid of all Foresight at the start of his turn. I mean, they're kind of like...
They're moving away from Foresight.
Definitely. And Foresight was one of the best buffs for the longest time. So I find that, pretty interesting.
So looking at this ability, you see the whole protection up for one turn. And that's because at the start of every turn, your team is going to be losing that protection up, and it's going to be converting into courage, which is something we're going to be seeing later on in her leadership.
Absolutely. So let's get into now her first special, which is Cunning Plan. So let's talk about the first part of this ability, which we got to take it, apart, because it's interesting that they put this in there. Dispel all debuffs on light side allies. So they are saying,
and they
look,
recover 50% up.
Exactly. So they are saying, look, this is she's meant to be the leader of the Galactic Republic, or at least part of the Galactic Republic lineup.
But she can still work with other light side characters,
which is good.
Great. I always love to see
exactly that they actually did that. Even though Galactic Republic is a huge faction, it's cool to know that you can throw it in with rebels or other people, and it can, at least that ability, can be useful. And
it's interesting to see that this protection up is stacking versus the basic one is not stacking. Really, when we go through a kit, I'm going to bring up a couple questions I have of how the protection up with other characters will really work. Like if we wanted to use Ahsoka Fulcrum, she gives protection up on her basic. So if you wanted to give this team more protection up to be able to use more courage, but how does it work? Because some don't stack and some do stack. So it brings up these questions.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting to see how the developers are going to handle it all, because you never know if Fulcrum comes in and just absolutely supercharges this team to a point where it destroys Malik.
Rework?
All right, so let's get into her second special, which is Graceful Assault. It's a 3-turn cooldown. You're going to deal physical damage to target enemy and stun them for 1 turn, which can't be copied or dispelled.
I don't know why it says copied.
What does that mean?
But I guess something down the line is going to allow us to copy stuns.
That's dope.
That's crazy.
All right, then call all light side allies with protection up and Jedi Knight Anakin to assist. So this brings up 2 points that we spoke about before. They say here that you're going to call all allies with protection up to assist, and then they take the time to say, and Jedi Knight Anakin. So what if Jedi Knight Anakin has protection up? Does he attack twice? Is he part of that initial swarm and then he attacks again? From what that's saying, I feel like it's kind of hinting towards that. I mean, I don't know if their verbiage is incorrect or they have to change that. Obviously it's a preview. But it also brings up the next thing, which is Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, yes.
Because Ahsoka is constantly assisting. Anytime you use a special, she assists if it's a Galactic Republic team or a Galactic Republic leader.
Yeah.
So if this is a special that's calling in everybody to attack.
If she has protection up. So if she has protection up, she's called in by this ability.
Even if she doesn't, she's going to get called in because of her
base. Because of her unique. Her Zeta, pretty much.
Yeah.
But does that lead to more assists
a second attack
on her
exactly
part? That's the question.
Does she now assist and then assist again? So maybe you have the possibility of hitting 6 times?
Yeah,
because you hit with 5 of them. No, you're hitting 7 times. You're hitting 5 and then again with Anakin and again with Ahsoka. I mean, that would be insane. That's absurd. So this is something that, again, I think they have to, the testing that is taking place right now with the community members will determine if that stays the way that it is, but that's just an interesting point to bring
also
up.
Wording, because this is subject to change, so they might change this wording to really specify that, and I hope so, because I don't want to read it in a way where, Jedi Knight Anakin should be assisting a second time, or Ahsoka should be assisting a second time, and it's not happening.
And the way that's put there, Jedi Knight Anakin is going to assist a second time, and if that's true, then Ahsoka will assist a second time as well.
Yeah.
So the way that it's put right there, we're getting 7 hits.
If we're reading it correctly. And
that is the way that it's put there.
Currently. But they might change it.
Absolutely.
But it's important to bring it up. It's an important question.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get into the leader. Her leader is called Unwavering Courage. So this is a buttload of a lead. We're going to break it up into parts. Okay. So light side allies have 50% max health, and while they have protection up, they resist all debuffs and can't be critically hit.
Okay.
Let's take that for what it is.
So, the way I look at it first is it gets rid of R2-D2's combat analysis data.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it. However, so it could open up a slot for R2-D2 to not be in a Galactic Republic team, and you could put someone else in that 5th slot. However, you might want R2-D2 because his number crunch data does offer so many great abilities to, light side members.
Absolutely. At the start of their turn, Galactic Republic allies dispel protection up on themselves and gain 1 stack of courage for each 5% protection up dispelled this way. So this is exactly into what Exum has stated earlier about the fact that at the start of the encounter, they're all given protection up, but when they take a turn...
whenever she uses a basic or whenever she does the other, they all only stack for 1 turn. So whenever they come up and it's their turn, they're going to lose that protection up. and it's going to convert into everything else.
And the fact that you see here that's only 5% protection up, one stack per 5%, she's giving 10%. Even in her unique, she can actually give 40%. So, I mean, this is going to be stacking like absolute crazy. So the next thing is, what is courage? So when damaging the target enemy with an attack, for each 5 stack of courage, dispel 5 stacks and deal bonus damage equal to 40% of the target's max health. So when I first read this, I looked at it and I was like, whoa. And I brought it up to Exum. I'm like, this is going to be absurd. This is going to be changed absolutely 100%. The reason that I thought of it was, you have Ahsoka. You give Ahsoka offense up. Let's even say for some reason we put R2-D2 in there. We put R2-D2 because of his ability to give even more offense up to the team. You have her with Jedi Knight Anakin, with GK, and with the Galactic Republic leader. So she's hitting 3 times on her special, and she's dealing 50% more damage because of the Galactic Republic lead. Plus the offense up that she has, plus whatever R2-D2 is giving her, and then you're talking about hitting at 40% of the target's max health. That would wipe out Malik. Absolutely just wipe him off the field. And when I first read that, I was like, they can't do that. I mean, they just said in the post that they wanted to be able to stack up against Darth Revan without Malik. Then Exum was like, don't be an idiot, keep reading.
And so we kept reading, and they literally specifically remind us, which we always need to be reminded, that whenever it's a health-based attack against Darth Malik, he gets this reduced damage.
Yeah.
So they specifically mention in these new interviews that they're starting to give out, the developers, which are really cool, that Malik is supposed to hold up against this, and it's going to be a struggle for this team. However, the way that I look at it is, if you don't have Malik, you're going to have a lot of problems with Darth Revan, because Darth Revan is squishy. And from the moment we got that ferocity buff announced in the first place, I've been completely against it. I don't even have my Omega on Force Storm because it gives them an extra 5 stacks of ferocity, and I don't need losing more defense and tenacity. So her team should be able to wipe through Darth Revan teams, because whenever they have all these stocks of ferocity, they've lost the defense, they've lost the tenacity, and they're just going to blow through her, especially with all these assists.
And I absolutely think that you're still going to blow through. That's why I think something's going to happen with this kit, because I see it's so amazing that I don't see how it doesn't stack up to a Malik team. Because this ability, it doesn't affect him health-wise, but it affects everybody else on the field health-wise. And I know that HK-47's health pool is not that high. You can wipe him out, per se, with one of these abilities, whether it be her ability to call 7 attacks, based on what it's saying, or this one with Ahsoka just hitting for an absurd amount of damage. She's going to be hitting for over 100,000 based on all those things, even without R2D to get him out of the lineup. I mean, that's crazy. If you have C-3PO in there with all the exposes.
And I'm already bringing up the point of how, up to here, we haven't even read her unique, how much it looks like she's going to shut down Darth Revan. Absolutely. And then we get into her unique called Always a Choice. And the first line is, Padme is immune to fear. She's the goddamn leader. When you're using Darth Revan, you're supposed to go straight after the leader and inflict fear to everybody. She's not getting feared. And so on top of all this damage is going to be done to these people with ferocity, you're not able to inflict this fear on her, so you're only going to be able to inflict fear on one person?
Yep.
Because how it works is, if you don't inflict fear on the leader, they don't all get it, right? And then if you inflict fear on somebody else, that person and the leader get it. But this leader is Padme, who's immune to fear. So only this one person is going to get fear?
It's great. I love it.
What the fuck?
But that's what's going on with this game right now. Everybody's got to counter each other. Every kid is designed to counter another kid.
And I think that is their intention, whether it upsets us right now. Their intention is, this team's going to counter this team that counters this team, that counters this team, that counters this team, that counters this team. And it's going to go in a circle.
And that's basically how it was done. They wanted to counter Darth Revan. They don't want it to counter Darth Malik. Yeah. So they literally put in here the 40% of the target's max health. And they literally said in the interview, not Malik.
And that's not saying that you won't be able to defeat a Darth Malik team.
Absolutely not.
Of course.
So let's keep going. All allies in the unique, all allies can't gain or lose bonus turn meter. So this is important to note, because you have Plo Koon. Plo Koon has an ability to offer you 50% turn meter, correct?
Yes. And also, if you have... So that's completely null and void. But we expect Plo Koon to get reworked. So They might have changed that in the first place, and they're probably going to now, knowing that this is going to destroy him. Because that was his only use, to give that extra 50% turn meter. You get ahead of the curve, and you can beat whoever you're facing. And I'm sure you can go down the list of characters of people who give little bits of bonus turn meter, like Stormtrooper Han. If you were to happen to be using him, can't use it. Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda. I don't know about 5s, but Hermit Yoda.
Every time 5s gets hit, he gives. Oh my god! That's the Zeta I just put on 5s.
No, you're such a liar.
I'm dead serious.
All right,
that's 5s is Zeta.
So Hermit Yoda, like, right? There's enough Jedi on this team if you're using Ahsoka, Jedi Knight, General Kenobi, and Padme. There's 3 Jedi there. What if you wanted to put the 5th slot Hermit Yoda, who gives 5% turn meter gain whenever he uses his heal, his basic? You're completely nullifying that. So, but it's a double-edged sword, because then you can't lose bonus turn meter. So you're not gonna have Grandmaster Yoda on the opposing Jedi Knight Revan team come move your turn meter, or an RJT coming in and using her mind trick, and
or even C-3PO, because C-3PO removes turn meter
or
too.
Han Solo. So it's a double-edged sword. So you can't really complain about it, but it's important to note.
Here it is, tactical awareness. 5s gains 15% turn meter whenever another clone ally takes damage, and 7.5% turn meter whenever a non-clone ally takes damage. So he's great.
You can't use 5s.
And I just gave him that Zeta, man. All right, whatever. So, all right, so let's continue.
I'm gonna need
with
a moment. That's funny as balls. All right. So, well, you skipped the part of whenever a light side ally loses protection up, they recover 5% health. This is important to note because, like we said, every single turn you're gonna be losing that 1 stack of protection up. So you're gonna be gaining 5% health every single turn.
Absolutely. Whenever an enemy attacks out of turn against a Galactic Republic ally, that ally gains protection up 10%. Does not stack with itself for 1 turn. Increase to 40% if Padme is the leader. So that's important to note, because this is basically saying, again, just like her ability up here, the cunning plan, that she doesn't need to be the leader. They'll still gain this 10% stacking protection. But if she is the leader, they'll gain 40% instead of 10%, and then plus everything else that she gives for the protection up.
And this protection can't be dispelled or prevented.
You know, for our final thoughts, Padme's kit is absurd. It looks amazing. I feel like they're going to probably tweak a couple things here and there. Graceful Assault really needs to be looked at. If they're okay with the fact that we're going to be doing 7 attacks. If they're okay with that.
Essentially, yeah.
Then hey, you know, more power to them. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm with it. But I don't think that that's how they meant it. But that's how they put it.
Yeah, they definitely need to look at that. And then the last thing to talk about is obviously Jedi Anakin has officially been confirmed to be getting a nerf. It is a nerf, but he's also getting a little bit of buffs because his Zeta's coming in and this direct synergy with Padme Amidala. I am very happy with it because it's a nice meeting in the middle. I'll point out to you guys now where it's a meet in the middle. But so the first changes are, if you look at his special, number 1, Overpowering Assault, which is the one that has been wiping everybody out. That's the one that's been causing problems. Nothing has changed on it except for if Padme is an ally, dispel all buffs on all enemies. That is huge, especially this rock, paper, scissors meta that we're going towards. So if you're facing a Jedi Knight Revan team, you will be dispelling everything. And that is an ability that cannot be evaded.
It goes right through
So
foresight.
you're going right through foresight and you're dispelling everything. That is huge. That's massive. So unlock Padme and put her on her team, whether she's at 5 stars, just for that solely. And then the Zeta that we are getting on the unique. This is where the changes of the meet in the middle comes in, and I'm going to read it completely. Whenever another ally falls below 50% health or is defeated, Anakin takes a bonus turn, and his next attack deals 100% more damage if all allies were Galactic Republic at the start of the battle. And then the Zeta. If Padme Amidala is an ally, she takes a bonus turn after each of Anakin's bonus turns. This is important to dissect and important to note. CG Crumb came in here and he's already made an edit where he's saying there are 2 ifs in this statement. The first sentence statement says that the bonus damage is conditional on if you have a full team of Galactic Republic allies, but it's not for Anakin's bonus turn. So that's what I'm saying. Whether any ally, whether the Galactic Republic or not, falls below 50% health, Anakin will still gain his bonus turn. I thought they were going to get rid of that. I thought they were going to make that only towards Galactic Republic, and they didn't. What they changed was that 100% extra damage is conditional on having full Galactic Republic allies.
Exactly.
So that's a nice meet in the middle, in my opinion.
He should be with the Galactic Republic team.
And they even spoke about the last thing to note, which is really important. is that they spoke about this. Padme Amidala is an ally. She takes a bonus turn after each of Anakin's bonus turns. This Zeta is going to be very important to run Padme against Darth Revan. They said in the interview that the intention was whenever the leader falls below 50% health against a Darth Revan team, they gain Death Mark. However, when you're running a Galactic Republic team, Anakin will then be procced when she falls under 50% health. When she gains that Death Mark and she's fallen below 50% health, he's procced and he takes a bonus turn. However, when he takes a bonus turn, because of this Zeta, she takes a bonus turn, thus making the Death Mark expire. They're really going after Darth Revan, in my opinion.
And she gains protection up.
It's going to be a struggle for Darth Revan teams.
Absolutely.
So we'll definitely see a nice rock paper scissors definitely come into effect. Mods are going to come back into play. These are some major changes.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great for the game. Okay, we got to have this more diversity going on.
Yeah.
I really don't have a problem at all with Anakin only really having that tweak to the point of the 100% more damage with Galactic Republic. That means Galactic Republic is going to be overcharged, just like he's been with everybody else. He will be there. So this is exciting, guys. This is great news. Again, also we have the news about the Count Dooku New Gunray reworks. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to what other reworks we're going to be getting, because again, we do believe, and they did say that a lot of what's coming up now is going to be a lot of reworks instead of like marquee characters and stuff like that. So that's exciting. There's a lot that needs to be done still, but get ready, because this is what we've all been waiting for 3 years now. So we hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Again, it ran a little longer than we anticipated, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it! High ground! You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them! High ground! I loved you! High ground! High ground. It's not the high ground way. I mean the Jedi way. You know what I'm saying. I'm saying I've beaten you and I'm on the high ground, so. High ground!